Production funding for Sports Files is made possible in part by
Infinity of Memphis has moved to Germantown Road, just half-mile north of Wolf Chase Galleria, and is proud to support WKNO for its quality broadcasting and service to our community. Quality and service? No wonder Infinity of Memphis feels at home on WKNO.
the WKNO Production Fund, the WKNO Endowment Fund, and by viewers like you. Thank you.
My guest today on Sports Files is Memphis Grizzlies guard Mario Chalmers. The Memphis Grizzlies just passed the quarter-mile pole of the season, and after an extremely slow start that saw the team lose 6 of their first 9 games, the Grizz have righted the ship. Now, by no means is the team at peak level, but since acquiring guard Mario Chalmers from Miami, things are on the upswing. Chalmers has added quickness and outside shooting to the suddenly prospering Grizzlies' second unit, and has even logged important minutes alongside starting point guard Mike Conley. The 8-year NBA veteran was a second-round draft pick of the Minnesota Timberwolves in 2008, but was acquired by the Miami Heat later that summer. 2 NBA titles later, Chalmers had become expendable with the Miami Heat and was dealt to the Grizzlies. Now, Chalmers played his college ball at Kansas and, as every Memphian knows, pierced the hearts of this community with his game-tying 3-ball in the 2008 NCAA title game, which sent their battle with the Memphis Tigers to overtime, subsequently won by KU. Well, today it's Mario Chalmers on the nerves he felt the first time he took the court in Memphis, his career resurgence, and his upbringing in the frozen tundra of Alaska. And it's all next on Sports Files. Mario, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate your time.
Well, thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. All right, let me go way back to your days growing up in Alaska. What was that like?
It was different. You know, my dad was in the military, Air Force background, so that's how we got to Alaska from North Carolina. And, you know, it was cold, but it was a lot of fun growing up and a great experience for me.
And, of course, you were able to make a name for yourself playing high school ball, some terrific games, some terrific teams that you played on. And even in Alaska, way up there, they find good players. And obviously they found you at Kansas.
Yeah, definitely. You know, we had a couple other guys come out, Carlos Boozer, Trajan Lane, and both of those guys went to Duke. So, you know, it's kind of out the norm for me to go to Kansas, something different.
All right, we'll get back to your days at Kansas in a moment, but you're here in Memphis. You haven't been here long. You've made quite the impact already. What's it been like for you?
It's been a good transition. You know, coming to a team that accepted me early. You know, all the players looked at me, you know, to bring that championship experience and bring a different type of leadership. So I'm just trying to fit in where I can get in.
You had a great run at Miami, obviously 2 NBA titles, did so much to help the Heat win those championships. When you had found out the news and you were going to Memphis, what were your original thoughts?
I was shocked, actually. I didn't know anything about the trade. Kind of found out through Twitter. So, you know, that was a different experience for me going through my first trade, but, you know, I'm happy to be here.
When you get here, I know that I read that you said you were worried about how the reaction of the fans would be with the history of Memphis and Kansas. It wasn't bad. It was very, very good. So tell us about that, and as you've moved along now so far in your early stint here in Memphis, what the fan reaction's been to you.
That was a warm welcome, which was surprising to me, and something I wasn't expecting at all. But, you know, the fans and the community, they accepted me right away. It made me feel right here at home. So, you know, it makes me feel good to come here after the history that we have, and you know, just lay everything out on the line that I have, and, you know, just try to bring a winning attitude and, you know, keep it going.
What do you think about this team?
I think it's a great team. You know, I consider Marc Gasol one of the best centers in the league. You got Mike Conley, who's a great point guard. Zach Randolph, you know, got Tony Allen, who's a great defensive stopper. And, you know, we got a lot of vets on this team who's been through, you know, a lot of playoff games, and Vince Carter, Matt Barnes. So I think we have all the pieces, you know, to grind it out and, you know, go all the way.
How do you look at your role with this team?
Right now, still trying to figure it out. You know, being a new guy, still trying to learn the offense, learn the defense. But, you know, I just come in and try to be an energy guy, you know, bring championship experience to the team. And you know, whatever I see on that night, that's what I'm able to do.
As the playing time and the minutes diminished in Miami here and the move was made, now you come back and you know that you're a steady rotation player, that you're going to get minutes, even minutes in key situations because you've played alongside Mike, you've played on the court obviously without Mike. It has to be a good feeling to know how much you're wanted, how much you're needed, and that you're going to get that consistent PT.
Definitely. You know, that was one of the first things that Coach told me when I first got here was that be prepared for anything. You know, I've had a couple games playing alongside Mike and just learning different things from him. And, you know, he's learning different things from me. So we're just trying to work together and make us a whole group.
Well, around here, we think Mike Conley is one of the most underrated players in the NBA. What do you think of Mike?
I agree with the same thing. You know, going against Mike for the last 7 years in my NBA career, you know, it's always been a battle between me and him. So it's good to be on the other side and be on the same side with him and, you know, pick his brain. And hopefully he gets the credit that he deserves.
Injuries have hurt this team early on. Brandon Wright's been out a long time. Jordan Adams hasn't been able to get it going. The rookie Jarrell Martin hasn't been obviously healthy to even contribute to this team. With that said, new players like yourself and Matt Barnes trying to get this all integrated. Has that been smooth? Has it been rough, bumpy at times? When I look at the first 20 games of the season or thereabouts, you've won some good games. You've also gotten beat up sometimes, some pretty good competition. So, again, I'm trying to figure out where this team stands right now, a quarter of the way through the season.
You know, we just got to put it all together. You know, coming from Miami last year where we dealt with a lot of injuries with Chris Bosh being out.
Right.
So coming from that background, you know, it's going to take a little time. But, you know, it's still early in the season. And I'm sure once we get everybody back and everybody healthy, we're going to be a scary team.
Well, you had a chance to play with 3 superstars in Miami, one of them being Dwayne Wade. When you were traded to Memphis, I recall on Twitter Dwayne coming out and saying best of luck to my little brother. I know he meant an awful lot to you. So talk about that relationship with Dwayne.
He's meant a lot to me. You know, he's one of my big brothers. You know, he was a guy that when I first got to Miami, he took me under his wing and taught me the ropes. You know, taught me everything about how to be a pro, how to be successful in this league. So, you know, that's just one of my closest friends that I can always count on for anything. And you know, that's just the relationship that me and D-Wade have.
And LeBron, your relationship with him?
Same thing with LeBron. You know, when LeBron first got to Miami, it was just like we clicked right away. Kind of got similar personalities. Always liked to laugh and joke, but when it came to playing basketball, you know, we took it seriously. And that's the thing about LeBron that a lot of people don't know about him. It's like when he steps on the court, it's all about business. And you know, that was something I learned about him. But I learned a lot of off the court stuff from Bron too, about being a businessman and different things like that. So I owe a lot to those 2 guys right there. Being
in Miami, you only played Memphis twice a year, but what was the perception of the Grizzlies and the Grizzlies organization from afar?
Grind out team. You know, we had some battles. I remember a couple years ago playing here. Rudy Gay hit a game winner on us. They came to Miami, they blew us out. So there's always been a battle playing against Memphis, and you know, to be on the side now is grind out mentality still.
You've won everywhere you've been. You're a winner. I mean, that's your labels. You're a winner. Let me go back to the college days and bring back some sore moments for our viewers out there. I was there. I saw it. I was right there on the sideline on Media Row. When you took the shot, did you know it was in?
I did. It was one of those moments where the coaching staff and my teammates had all the confidence in the world in me for me to take that shot. So me getting the ball in my hands and getting that release, it felt like a practice shot.
Memphis fans believe you were fouled before. Were you fouled?
No, I was never touched.
Never touched?
Never touched.
Was there anything about that game, the way it ended, the situation with Memphis again, there was whether or not they should have fouled, did they foul? There's a lot of controversy around here for years to come. I would imagine that you could imagine something like that. But was there something that you look back at that game and go, you know, if this happened here, we don't win it, or is there anything that, obviously you wouldn't change anything, you won a national championship, but anything that comes to mind?
Nothing at all. We won, we got the title, 2008, one of the best moments of my life.
Did you know once you got it to overtime, you were winning?
We definitely did. We just felt the momentum swing our way, and we could see the defeat on their faces, so we just went for the kill after that.
You're not the first, though, from that team to play for the Grizzlies, which is crazy for Memphis fans around here. Darrell Arthur, of course, was the first. So maybe he eased the way for you to make your way into Memphis.
I hope so. You know, funny thing about DA, that was my roommate in college. So, you know, me and Shetty's very close. You know, I still talk to him all the time. But, you know, it was just a great moment for all of us in our college careers and help us get to the next level.
We talked earlier about the perception, your perception of this team, how good they could be. You said, hey, they can go all the way. When you look around the league and you see what Golden State is doing, how good San Antonio is with the veteran players and now the young guys like Kawhi and Aldridge, and of course what Cleveland's assembled with LeBron, how does a Memphis, an OKC, a Houston, all these other good teams, how do they get to that level?
You know, with those teams, they've been together for a while, especially Golden State. You know, they've been together a couple of years. With Cleveland, once you get a taste of the finals, you know, you're always hungry to go back more, and that's what we experienced, you know, my first year, or 2010 when we lost to Dallas with Miami. So for us, it's just, you know, keep grinding out, you know, take each day and get better as a team. You know, everybody brings their individual games and get better and keep improving. And then when that time comes, you know, be willing to lay everything on the line and go for it.
What has Dave Joerger, Coach Dave Joerger, said to you, and what do you see in him as a coach in this short time you've been in Memphis?
He's a good coach. He's a player's coach. You know, he's a guy that is going to always relate to his players and, you know, make sure they're feeling okay, make sure they know what's going on. And, you know, to play for a coach like that is a great opportunity for me.
What was it like with Eric Spoelstra?
Kind of like the same thing. Mm-hmm. You know, with Spo, it was kind of different because me and him our first rookie years was together.
Oh, wow.
His first year as coaching was my first year in the NBA. So being with Spo my whole career, learning from Spo, learning together, it was a great experience.
And of course in Miami, you also were able to, I'm sure, lean on Pat Riley, one of the legends.
Oh, definitely with Pat. You know, one of the living legends there is. Has been through everywhere. Another guy that's won on almost every level. So it was good to pick Pat's brain and learn from him too.
All right, so where are those NBA World Championship rings?
They're in Miami right now, in the safe. So I got to get those and bring them out here.
Do you have the NCAA championship ring alongside that?
They're all sitting there together, all in a little case.
So what is the plans, I guess, when you settle down, get the home, put the, you know, hopefully here in Memphis, you'll be here for years to come, and what are you going to put a nice little display in the home, or are you just going to keep it in a safety deposit box?
I don't know. I'm still thinking about it, but I'm going to definitely keep them around just so I can show my kids about them and just show them what the winning is all about and show them what you get for winning.
Your goals individually for the rest of this season?
You know, be the best player I could be. You know, do all the little things for the team and show them how to, well, not show them, but, you know, help lead to an NBA championship or help lead to the Western Conference Finals, and, you know, just do all the little things and get my feet wet here.
Toughest player to guard in the NBA would be who?
Probably Steph Curry.
How about the most physical player you have to go up against in the NBA?
Most physical.
Because Curry is unbelievable, but he's not the physical player.
He's not a physical
player.
player.
Step back, boom, knock down a three from anywhere. Who's a guy that just got to, man, you have to rev up the physicality because that's the way they play.
I might say Eric Bledsoe. He's one of the physical point guards out there that, you know, when we play against each other, it's always a bang-bang situation. So I might have to give that to him.
Trash talking, who does the most?
Nobody really.
Nobody?
Trash talks directly to me, but, you know, a person that has a lot of antics would probably be Westbrook.
Does he yaps a lot?
I mean, he don't really yap a lot, but, you know, his antics when he scores, and, you know, he's a very emotional player.
You've come out and have shown fans, first of all, you haven't lost a nanosecond of your speed. Second of all, you've been knocking down threes, you've been hitting that shot. What are you working on when people don't see you and you're at practice and before practice and after, shoot arounds? What are you trying to do to get better, Mario?
You know, trying to get stronger, get my legs stronger. You know, keep working on that, keep working on my shooting and ball handling, and you know, just the little things that's going to help with my speed and quickness, and, you know, being able to get to where I want to get on the court.
All right, you're off the hot seat, but we like to end all our interviews with something we call Five for the Road. It'll be a simple question, First thing that comes to mind.
All right.
Okay. Your favorite professional sports team, you cannot say the Grizzlies and you cannot say the Miami Heat, any sport.
Carolina Panthers.
Why?
Because I'm kind of from Carolina. You know, I was in Charlotte when they established that Panthers team. So
Right.
all my family's from Charlotte, so you know that's why I stick with my hometown team.
Okay. Favorite pro athlete of all time.
Michael Jordan.
Music. What's your favorite music or genre or artist? What do you like to listen to?
Favorite artist of all time probably Jay-Z.
Jay-Z. Do you like to listen to a lot of music before a game?
Yes, all the time. You know, I gotta listen to music before the game just to get me in my zone.
On the bus and things like that as well?
Yeah,
So it's
definitely.
it really gets you focused.
Yeah, I'm a big music guy, so I love music, and that's something I'm always doing in my off time is listening to music and finding new things to do.
Have you thought about doing something? Can you play an instrument? Can you sing? Do you have a good voice?
Nah, I don't do any of that.
You're just listening to
I
these
just
greats
listen to
like
music,
Jay-Z.
yeah.
Okay. Favorite movie of all time?
Life.
Life.
Uh-huh.
Who stars in that?
Eddie Murphy, and Martin Lawrence.
How do I not know that? I'm a big fan of Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence. If it was a sports movie, what would it be?
I say either Space Jam or When the Game Stands Tall.
Okay. And then finally, your favorite television show?
Martin.
There you go. Big Martin fan. We're a big fan of yours, Mario.
Thank you, appreciate
Thank you
it.
so much for joining us. We'll take a break. Overtime is next. The last time we spoke, the Memphis Tigers were deciding on a new head football coach to replace Justin Fuente. Now, I said the school likely had their new guy, but it was after our deadline to tape last week's show. Well, I was right. The Tigers have a new head football coach. But let's make this clear. After Barry Odom turned down the opportunity to come to Memphis, nobody had a clue who the next choice was. The school put a lid on the leaks, and when the announcement finally came, it was 34-year-old Mike Norvell landing the gig. The graduate of Central Arkansas was working most recently as the offensive coordinator at Arizona State, where he was highly respected for his high-octane offense and tireless recruiting ability. Needless to say, there were some happy folks on hand during last week's introductory press conference.
Thank you. It is a thrill to see all of you here today, but I have to tell you, I am thrilled to see everyone here, but who I'm really excited about being here is this young man right there. I'd like to thank the Memphis community for their tremendous support of Tiger football. As you know, the last 2 years have simply been historic. We have every expectation that the trajectory of this football program will continue to be remarkably positive. I'd like to take a second and thank our advisory committee, including Tom Cadian, Cato Johnson, Brad Martin, Willie Gregory, and Mike Bruns. They have been invaluable. I'm going to get out of the way and let you get to the people you really want to hear from. Tom, come on up and introduce our coach.
Good afternoon. I want to thank you all for being here today. And remember 7 days ago or 6 days ago when we met, we promised that we would get together and build a search process that would find a sense of urgency and a sense of the right fit and the perfect person to be a Memphis Tiger. I, too, want to thank our committee and leadership, especially Alan Graff, Brad Martin, Willie Gregory, Cato, Tom Caden, and Mike Bruns.
Thank you, everyone, and I really appreciate everybody coming out. This is a special day. To stand in front of you today, words really cannot describe how excited and how honored I am to be introduced as the head football coach here at the University of Memphis. This is a day I've dreamed about. This is a day that, by no stretch did I get here alone. So I'd like to start off, and it'd only be right for me to give thanks to people that have helped get me to this point. I'd like to start off to my wife, Maria. Oh, yeah, you clap away. The sacrifice, the long hours, the commitment, All those things have helped get to this point, to this place. And we sit here and we talk about fit. I can tell you that the most important things for me are fit and family. And as I was going through this process, I was able to sit through and, I've known this university. I've known this city. I played college football about 2 hours away, so I've spent a lot of time here at Memphis in May. I'm a big fan. I enjoy it. But there's been a group of people that every time that I've come here and got a chance to spend any amount of time in this great city, it's always been the same thing. It's a family feel. It's a tremendous community. It's a community that welcomes you with open arms and always makes you want to come back. And I'm so proud today to be able to stand in front of you with this position. It's another opportunity. It's another time for me to be able to give back, to serve, to sacrifice for a football team, to sacrifice for a community, to help put a product on the field that's going to make everyone proud. I'd like to take a moment to thank Coach Fuente and his staff, the incredible job that they did. But even more on the lines of the support staff, the academic groups that we have with Bob Baker, Ash, Lauren, everybody that works and touches our student athletes here. I'd like to thank them for their contribution. Because what I've found here at the University of Memphis, why I'm standing in front of you today, is because now, at this time, we have a culture of winning. We have a culture of winning in every area. We have a culture of winning academically. We have a culture of winning socially. We have a culture of winning with how we play this game. And that's what makes me so proud and so honored to stand before you today, because now it's my job. It's my responsibility to help take the next step. And now to the future. This is the perfect time, and this is the perfect place. There's a lot of opportunities that have been discussed in my coaching career of places that I could have gone, of people that I could have went and led. But I was in such a great situation that it had to be right. It had to be all about the fit and all about the family. And it took about 2 hours sitting with the administrative staff here, talking to the people that are closest to me. After that 2-hour meeting of talking about what's in place here, the people, the commitment, the young men, there was no doubt. This is the perfect fit. This is the perfect place. And I'm excited about where we're going to go. Looking forward with this community, okay, and this program, the thing that's always really inspired me is about one vision, one way of doing things, a pursuit of perfection. And when I came and I've listened to so many people, I've got a chance to meet so many great people in just such a short period of time, there is one clear and concise vision. It's to win in every area. It's to win every day. It's to strive for perfection, to strive for excellence. And I was able to meet with the team about 30 minutes ago. And when I stood in front of them, I knew that I had made the right decision. I looked into their eyes. I saw the hunger. I saw the fire. And we talked about one thing, to go finish. To go finish. Finish what they began this year, and then get ready for the future. And it's a tremendous, tremendous group that I was able to stand in front of. To talk a little bit about what we're going to be about. We're going to be about family. We're going to be about core values. When we're going to put a product on the field and a product within this community that you are going to be proud of. With how we play, with how we go to school, with how we are in the community, this is the team that you're going to want to back. And we're going to continue to build on the great successes that we've already had and continue to take this into the future. Our football team, we're going to play smart. We're going to play fast. We're going to play physical. And we're going to be passionate about finishing. In everything that we do, we're going to be passionate about that. And we're going to do it together. We're going to do it as a family. We're going to do it through adversity. when times might not be, when things might not go well for us. It's all going to be about the finish and finishing together, finishing successfully, finishing on top. I'm so very excited to be the head coach at the University of Memphis. I'm so very excited for this opportunity. And I can't wait to get out there and shake everybody's hand and get a chance to meet everybody that's associated. But I can tell you, there are great days ahead. Thank you very much.
And here at Sports Files, we welcome Coach Norvell and his family to Memphis. And that'll do it for now. Next week, our Saturday 4:30 airing returns, along with the rest of our normal weekly airings of Sports Files. Until then, have a great week, and we'll see you next time.
Production funding for Sports Files is made possible in part by
Infinity of Memphis has moved to Germantown Road, just half-mile north of Wolf Chase Galleria, and is proud to support WKNO for its quality broadcasting and service to our community. Quality and service? No wonder Infinity of Memphis feels at home on WKNO.